Okay, in this next session, I'm going to talk about Google AdSense. This is where we make a large part of our income, and it's super exciting to be able to run AdSense on our sites. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to cover specifically why we use Google AdSense, how to get an AdSense account, and when you should actually apply for an AdSense account. I'm going to talk about if you get rejected the first time, how to apply again. I'm going to talk about reading and understanding all the rules, understanding how and when you get paid, and then I'm going to talk about ad placement. I'm going to introduce you to something called ad inserters. So this is going to be a good video. Make sure you take lots of notes, and you'll probably want to review this a few times. So why do we use Google AdSense? Well, if you've watched any of the other sessions, I've talked about it. They are the big daddy. They are the king. They pay the most. It's just kind of the bottom line. They have the most inventory, and you get paid really well. Now, that's not to say there won't be another network that comes around, or maybe there's another network in your niche that pays better. But overall, in general, Google AdSense is where it's at. Now, we want to try to eventually get to the point where we're balancing, where we're making about half of our income from Google AdSense and half from other sites. But it might start at the beginning where you're making the majority of your money from Google AdSense. And that's okay. As your site grows, you can make better deals with other publishers and make extra income. And so pay really close attention to what I'm about to talk about, because I'm going to cover some very, very important points here, and this kind of has to go along with making sure that you get approved and that you use AdSense correctly. So how do you get an AdSense account and when to apply? So new sites need to have at least 10 to 14 days of 3 posts a day before applying for Google AdSense. You need to have content on your website. So for example, I've got my Love Pet site, and it's just got the template. Well, let's just assume that this was a real site and that I had been putting content on here, 3 posts a day for 10 to 14 days. Well, I would have a site that looks like this. It'd be full of content, lots of topics, and a site that Google loves. But then one other thing, not only do you have to put your content on there, but you need to be posting to Facebook for those 10 to 14 days as well. And you need to start a little bit of advertising, even though you don't even have any ads on your site yet. So you want to do a like campaign, and maybe spend $10, $15 on like campaigns, maybe spend another $10 to $20 on promoting some of your posts. So plan about 30 bucks in spending, 30 to maybe 35, 40 bucks in spending before you even put AdSense on. And the reason we do that is we want your website to start looking like a real website, like you're getting real traffic, because you are getting real traffic, and we want it to be a little bit more natural. And so we want to start getting some engagement going and some people looking at your articles, and then we're going to apply for AdSense. So here's the deal. If you already have an AdSense account, then you still need to wait about the 10 to 14 days. You don't need to apply for AdSense. You can just put AdSense on your site. But you'll be tempted to put your AdSense account on sooner. And please don't do that. The reason why is Google looks for real sites, and it wants to optimize the content. So if you put AdSense on too early, it's not going to optimize very well. It's going to take longer, and your earnings on AdSense will be lower. And so just please understand that don't jump the gun if you have an AdSense account already. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Absolutely no ads on your website when you apply for an account. Don't put info links, don't put content.ad, no banner ads, no affiliate ads, nothing. It should be pure content. It should look like this, except for like with real content. This is just the fake content. So yeah, don't apply with just this fake content that's already put into your template, guys. Make sure that you disable these and that you have real content. You need a good 20 posts, 20 to 25 posts in here before this site really starts to fill out. So make sure you're doing that, putting the content in, invest that time to do that. Now, I want you to think about something before you actually go apply for your AdSense account. I want you to think about your tax liabilities, because you are going to be earning income from this, and Google, at least in the US, by law has to report to somebody that some income was made. So you may want to consider talking to an accountant or a tax person and say, hey, I have this potential of making a great amount of income this year. I want to make sure I'm set up right. Maybe I need an LLC, maybe I need an S Corp, maybe you're just going to do it under your personal. But I would find out about that, because when you go to apply for your AdSense, you're going to need to apply, and there's an option there to apply as a business, and then you can put a tax ID or you can put a social security number. Now, you can change it later, but I think it's a lot easier if you apply at the beginning, and it makes it look more professional. So it's something you may want to look at. I mean, if it was me, I would do it. I would get a company set up and have it all in my business name. Okay, this is really important. Make sure you're not blocking bots in WordPress before you go for approval. Let me show you where that's at. Under your website, go to your control panel, the dashboard, and take a look down under settings and reading. I believe it's under reading. I do go over this in the other setup, but I'm just going to go over it right here. See where it says search engine visibility? Discourage search engines from indexing the site. You would uncheck that and hit save changes. I'm not going to do that because I don't want this site to go live yet. But if you have that checked and you apply for AdSense, you will be turned down because they won't be able to look at your website. Okay, so make sure you are not blocking bots, and make sure that all of your contact us terms and terms of services are on the page. So for example, this new site that I have set up, you need to make sure that all of these about us is filled out. See, that's not filled out. You need to make sure that the contact us is filled out and actually working. This I still need to go to do the setting for this, and then you need to put an address, some kind of mailing address here as well. Maybe go get box at the UPS store, or put some kind of address in there so that they can. That's what real sites do, right? They have real addresses. Then you have your creation policy, DMC, but they're also looking for privacy and terms and conditions. You need to make sure all of these are in place before you apply, or they will turn you down. So how do you sign up? Well, just go to Google and say sign up for AdSense, or just go to google.com/AdSense/sign up. Go through the process. It generally takes 24 to 48 hours to hear from them, and then don't be surprised if they turn you down the first time. Many of you will be accepted, no problem. And I'm going to talk about on the next slide here what happens if you get turned down. Actually, I've got another slide here. I have a special note here, okay, because I understand some of you may have done AdSense before, but if you've ever had an AdSense account disabled, meaning if you ever had an AdSense account canceled, listen closely. This is important. You can for sure get another AdSense account legally. I'm going to show you how to do it. I actually have a special session video inside the area here that shows you how to do it legally. But if you have ever had one canceled, do not apply for an AdSense account on the computer or the browser that has had the account disabled. So for example, if my email address was bob@gmail.com, and I'm in my Google Chrome and I log into my Gmail and I go to adsense.google.com, and it says your account has been disabled. You cannot no longer participate. Well, then I would not go in that same browser and go apply for AdSense under a different name or a different account from the same computer. You will be turned down again. So there's some special precautions you need to take when you go to apply the next time. So go watch that video and I'll show you how to do it. All right, if you get rejected, and it happens, don't be surprised, and it's usually nothing major. If you didn't get approved, it may just take a little bit of time. Maybe you just don't have enough content on your site. Maybe you have some content that they don't like that's against their terms of service. And I'm going to get to that here in just a minute about the terms of service. But they will tell you the reason. They'll say, oh, your privacy policy is on the site, or they'll say, oh, your site is too new, put some more content on, or they may say they don't like something, or you have ads on your site, or they may say, oh, we couldn't look at your site, so you must have had the bots blocking in WordPress. They'll tell you, and then let's go check this out here. There's they actually tell you what to do. My application was disapproved, what can I do now? And they'll tell you specifically what was wrong, and they'll kind of give you some guidelines here. So take a look at that. The next thing is, here's a great article on what to do to basically 12 things you need to do before applying for Google AdSense. And so he's got some really good stuff on here that I totally agree with. Maybe you don't have enough content on there. Maybe your page type or design is messed up. Now, if you use our templates, you will have no problem. Privacy policy, maybe your content is not, or your traffic you're getting to your site is low quality, and that's why you need to just do some organic traffic through Facebook, maybe do a little Facebook advertising, because they actually love Facebook traffic because it's really targeted. High quality content, maybe your articles are no good. Maybe they're not enough quality. Privacy, we talked about that. Your about page, contact us page. Make sure your name and email address are correct. So if you goofed up on there and they got a bounce or something. Have a good number of posts. Everyone kind of has their, a lot of your posts should be at least 600 words, 500 to 600 words. I totally agree. At least 20 good quality posts. That kind of goes along with what I just said. And then, also need to be 18 plus. Don't worry about your blog design because your blog is rocking. It'll look good. But again, no pornography, pirated content. And that is one thing that will for sure get you disapproved, is if you're not doing original content or like curated content. If you're just copying and pasting other articles, you'll get turned down. They know how to check for that. Drugs, paraphernalia, other illegal stuff. That's why you need to really look at the terms of service. So we'll go over that here in a second. Okay, so fix the issues, apply again. They'll kind of tell you when you can apply. It's usually about 4 to 7 days, can be even sooner than that. So talking about the rules, let's understand all the rules. Okay, do not take this lightly. You need to become an expert in the program policies and placement policies with Google, period. You need to understand them. Let's go over them just briefly. I'm going to hit some of the highlights. The program policies are very important. Take some time, uninterrupted time, watch their video, go through all of these and learn about what invalid clicks means, what encouraging clicks means, encouraging people to click on your site, content guidelines about your content, copyrighted material. That is a really important thing for us because we can be, if you don't have enough original content or you haven't curated at least 80% of an article, if then you're going to be thought of as having copyrighted material on your page. Counterfeit goods, and this is another big thing, is your traffic sources. So if you start driving traffic with other sources that we don't recommend, it could bring low quality traffic, and they don't like that. Ad behavior, ad placement, site behavior. If you make it really difficult for your users to move around, it's going to be tough. There's all kinds of things. So go through this very specific and understand it. You may have to take an hour or two to really go through it. And then the next thing is the placement policies. Understand the ad placement policies. Go through every single one of these and go through the placement policies and learn when you can and can't place an ad. Now, I already talked about this in one module, so I'm not going to go over it again, but you need to really understand these. Do not just blow past these and think that it doesn't apply to you, because it will apply to you. You need to understand these. How do you get paid with Google AdSense? Well, that's an important thing to understand. They have it very clearly stated on their website of the payment timelines. They even have a little video. So the best way to get paid is through electronic funds transfer. They even have a little map that kind of tells you when you get paid and exactly how it works. But just understand something, that there is a lag time before you actually get paid, up to as much as 30 plus days. And the reason Google does that, it's 30 to 60 days. The reason they do that is they just want to make sure. There's a lot of people that try to cheat AdSense, and they have to go through and audit everything. And if you're cheating them, they take the money back. And so they can't pay it out for a while. And so you need to understand about your cash flow. So we're going to be teaching you how to drive traffic with some paid sources, mainly Facebook. So you need to make sure you budget correctly and know that if I spend $100 on Facebook ads, I'm not going to get that $100 back plus the profit for maybe even up to 60 days. So you need to really understand your cash flow and don't overextend yourself. I've seen a lot of people do that, where they'll just go hog wild and go spend a bunch of money, and then they don't have budget anymore to run, and then they're just waiting on pins and needles for that Google check to come in. So really figure out what your ad budget is going to be for spending and keep that, and don't overextend yourself. Okay, let's talk about ad placement, and I'm going to talk about in general great places to put your ads, and I'm also going to point you over to Google's website so you understand their recommended policies. So I'm just actually going to type this into Google, placement recommendations. Did I spell it right? So best practices for ad placement, and then they also have best practices for mobile ad placement. Read through this and learn it, because it's actually true. If you actually follow their ad placement guidelines, it works really well. And they also have a mobile ad. So let's search for that one, and so you can see that. And let's do mobile ad placement policies. And I'm just going to draw your attention just to a couple things. Let's see, it must be just in here. There must be a link in here for the mobile one as well. And the biggest things that I want to draw your attention is you don't want ads to overtake your site where that's all there is ads. You want to make sure that your ads are within your content but placed in specific areas. I'll show you on our sites. We've played around with these a lot, and these are really good ad placements, and sometimes we'll play around with them a little bit more. Let me go ahead and bring up the mobile site though as well. So just before we go to that, I want to point this out, and I did this in another video, but mobile has some very specific rules. And on mobile, you cannot have a huge big old ad that's above the fold. So for example, if this was your website on mobile, and most of our traffic will be, and you just have a little bit of content down here, but you got this giant ad, that's unacceptable. In fact, you're not allowed to have a 300 by 250 ad above the fold. So look at this optimization guide for mobile. When we started following this guide, we started making a lot more money. So they recommend that you place a 320 by 100 above the fold, and we're doing that. And then have a 300 by 250 just below the fold. So I'm going to demonstrate these, but just understand that we have two audiences here. We have desktop audiences, and then we have mobile audiences. Okay, so I'm going to show you those placements, but I'm going to introduce you to something called Ad Inserter. Okay, Ad Inserter is a plugin that's in your WordPress, and it is awesome. What it allows you to do is allows you to put ads, all kinds of different kinds of ads, into your site and inject the code at different spots and different types of ads. You can even rotate ads, do split testing, all kinds of things. You can say the behaviors of when to show an ad if someone's on mobile or desktop, if someone's logged into WordPress, not logged into WordPress. So it's pretty sophisticated, and it can seem a little daunting. I'm going to walk through it here in just a minute. I'm going to show you some of the settings in Ad Inserter, but then there is a more detailed video that shows you how to use it. But let me go ahead first and show you kind of placements. So first of all, I've got my website here, and I don't have any content on it except for this kind of like fake content. And you notice there's no ads on here. All right, so I'm going to go to a site that really has ads, okay? And I'm going to, let's see, we are going to bring up, how about we bring up this article of the kid playing with the cats. Okay, so I'm on desktop right now, okay? Notice on desktop we have a big ad right here, and then when we scroll down, we have an ad here. Now we have an ad here on the sidebar. Now let's bring up another ad, and I want to show you because a lot depends on where your content is. So let's bring up this one about the man who saves a woman in a trapped car. There's a little more content right here. So I've got an ad here, I've got an ad here, okay, and then I've got my sidebar ad here. So I've got a lot of content. As you scroll down, it's inside the content, and then That's how my ads are placed there. I want to show you something on the next page for here. So as it goes through to my content here, I want to show you that in this particular ad, I've got additional ads down here from content.ad, and then that other ad shows up right there. Okay, so let me go to another article. A lot of it depends on how you space your paragraphs out. Okay, let's go to this one about the guy whose father has Alzheimer's disease. So there's my ads, and I've got lots of white space there between the ads. I'm going to go to the next page here, and I've got an ad right underneath there, and then we've got previous and next buttons here, and we've got content.ad here. Okay, so that's the way we've chosen to do, and we've gotten some good results on desktop. Now let's go back and show you what mobile looks like. So I'm going to hit F12 and I'm going to refresh. Remember, mobile looks completely different. So on a mobile site, what you're going to have is you're going to have an image up here, and then you're going to have the first ad that's going to be on the first page, and it's usually going to be below that image, but it's still got lots of content on the page. And then as I scroll down, you'll start to see the next ad block. And then I've got the next button, and then you'll see the next ad. Now I want to be really clear on something here. Be really careful about the spacing between your next button and your ad. It needs to be at least 20 pixels, and we have it set up where it's 20 pixels. We don't want to encourage people to accidentally click on that. Let's go to the next page. On the next page, we've got an ad at the top, because now we're on page number 2. So our ad goes right at the top there, and then we have our next ad, and then we have the actual Facebook video, and then we have an ad right here, and I don't know if it's going to load up or not right now, but let me tell you what happens and why these ad spots are really good, because you've got your person watching your video here. Okay. They're watching the video, and the whole time they can probably see an ad there, and so the idea is to catch their attention. You know, we're not making it like too close to it, but it's in the range of view, and that's what's important, is where your people's eyes are and where they're, used into your content. You want to have the ads there. So we have found this to be an optimal placement. Over time, we're going to show, we may test and tweak and recommend some others. You may test and tweak, but what I would recommend is that when you do change an ad position, that you change it and let it run for a good 2 days, and you only change one thing at a time, because it's really hard to track. And so you can get really sophisticated with this thing called ad inserter. So I'm going to go into this ad inserter right now and show you kind of just the high level of how it works, and then you can go to the video and the how-tos and learn how to use it. So it's under settings, and it's under ad inserter. So under ad inserter, it has spots here for different ad blocks, up to 16 that you can use, and I think you can get a pro version and even do more. But notice this says article, inline top, desktop. So this is the ad, and it's not a real ad because I don't have a publisher ID and a data slot in here. And right now this is actually turned off. It's not running. And we set this up this way so that when you get yours, you can put your data in here and just run it the way we have ours set up. But it's turned off right now. If I put a checkbox in there and saved, then ad spots would start showing up there, but it wouldn't be in real ads. You do not want to do that, by the way. Do not put these on, even if these ads are these client IDs are 0. But notice there's kind of some sophistication in here of exactly where it's going to insert it. This one's going to do desktop and tablet. Ad number 2 is the sidebar. And so there's different things you can do. Ad number 3 is the article bottom on the desktop. I want to show you one other thing. Like, you can do this and say, hey, only display this for people that are not logged in. And that means if you're an admin user or an article writer, you can't see the ads. And that helps it so people don't accidentally click on your ads. I'm just have it on all right now, but that's something that you could do. There's other things that you can do. You can get pretty crazy with these. You can rotate ads. You can do all kinds of things. I'm going to have a more detailed video that shows you how to use ad inserter in more detail. Plus, you can read the documentation. But the bottom line is it really makes it easy to display your ads. One last thing about ad placement is be very careful about how many ads you can have on a page at one time. You can only have 3 AdSense blocks on your website at one time. So we can't have 4, can't have 5, you can only have 3. And sometimes you only want to run 2. And it really kind of depends on your tracking and strategies. We'll have a whole session that talks about AdSense and going in and setting ad blocks and that. But I want you to understand something. You don't have to become an expert at this. We have set these templates up the right way. So all you have to do is get your AdSense account and then go in and then set up what are called your ad blocks, and then you're just going to put some codes in here. Just do what we've already used, and then you're just going to put some codes in here in all these spots, and I'll have a video that shows you exactly how to do that. Okay, so I know we talked about a lot in this video, so it might be one that you want to review, pause, rewind, have a lot of fun with it. But this is exciting for when you are able to start running AdSense and start creating some revenue. I do want to mention one last thing. It's important to understand that when you're running AdSense, it takes time to optimize on your site. And I've seen this over and over again. It's people who put AdSense on their site, and their first day they're like, oh man, I'm not making very much money. My RPMs are down and my click-through rates are... You know what? Sometimes it takes, not sometimes, all the time, it takes a couple weeks for AdSense to be on your site before you start making money that's even paying for your ads sometimes, because they optimize it. They're looking at you, they're looking at your site, they're looking at your content, they're looking at people like you, and they're going to reward you with better ads on your site. So one word for you is patience. Just have patience. We already know that these templates work. Just make sure you do good content, and then let the Google gods start delivering you really good ads. If you have any issues, go in the mastermind area. There's lots of discussion going on about this very topic. So have fun, guys, and we'll see you on the next session.